Hi there, folks. It's me, Michael Bach, your diversity dude, and it's time for another episode of Monday Morning Musings. That's silly. And I want to talk about something other than racism. I've been talking a lot about racism lately, and I'm tired of it. So, I found an article, and it was about a WestJet passenger who was flying from, I think, Calgary to Saskatoon or something, and is a trans woman. And apparently the gate agent became very confused and upset because her ID identified her as male and she was presenting as female. And, the whole thing just left me kind of feeling, I don't know, sick and just weird, because the gate agent actually came on the plane and in front of all the passengers outed her as being trans and felt the need to embarrass her in front of all these other passengers, which of course puts her in a very unsafe circumstance. And WestJet is apologizing and blah blah blah. I think it opens a conversation though about the importance of ensuring that trans people have identification that is reflective of how they present. So if they're a trans woman in this case and she is presenting as female, then her ID should, be updated immediately, regardless of whether or not she's had any sort of corrective surgeries or that sort of thing. As soon as she identifies as being a trans woman, then her ID should be updated to reflect that. Or if a person is gender non-binary or non-conforming, then the person should be identified as gender neutral. The reality is that as long as the photo matches the person, it really doesn't matter if the ID, whether it's the passport, the driver's license, whatever, if it has any sort of gender marker or a sex marker on it. That is so outdated, and I have yet to be convinced by any of the arguments as to why that's important to have on there anymore. I think, frankly, as Canadians, we should be out front and advanced on this, and we should be removing gender markers from any sort of government ID as long as there's a picture on it. As long as I present as the person on the ID, that's all that should matter. And there's a safety issue involved. If a trans person gets stopped, as an example, by a police officer late at night, and the police officer looks at the ID and it doesn't match the person, they may then do, I don't even want to guess what they might do, but leaves the trans person in a potential state of violence. So, something to think about. The reality for trans people living day to day is that they have a lot more challenges than people like myself who identify as cisgender. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you have a fabulous day. Please remember to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the link somewhere around my face, and I will see you all next week for another episode of Monday Morning Musings.